Second video of this series is showing you how to create a new page in Dreamweaver with a built-in template and a few layout styles so that you can get a really nice laid out website without having to put a huge amount of effort in to start with. So Adobe Dreamweaver CS4, and we've already made a folder called website. Inside that folder we've done a site definition. Those things must have been completed before you start trying to create a new page. So here we go, File, New. We're going to make a page using one of the default layouts. One of the best ones for use for the GCSE Computing or ICT course is two-column fixed, left sidebar, header and footer. That enables you to have a sidebar with hyperlinks that allow you to link to different pages, and it allows you a main section where you can put lots of content. The header is a great place to put a nice graphic, and the footer down the bottom is a nice place where you can put things like your name and your candidate number and your center number and so on. In this tutorial, we're going to not add the cascading style sheet information to the head of the document, but we're going to create a new file, one that sits in the same folder along with the page you create. So make sure that's set to create new file for the time being. We press create. It says, where do you want to save the style sheet file, or the cascading style sheet? It comes up with a funky name, which is 2col_fix_LT_htr. It's just a name for the file. It has all the styles in it, so how things are laid out and how big the margins are and so on, with the extension .css. I'm going to leave it as default, and I'm going to save it. All that's left to do, well, first of all, what's happened is that file has been created. You can see that it will be in that folder. There it is. And it's also given you a web page here with some basic HTML content, and it's given you the style sheet, which has already been saved. A really important thing to do at this moment in time is actually save this web page so that this web page link from the page to the style sheet actually gets updated, so you don't end up with this absolute file link. So File, Save As. A default name for most home pages on most websites is index, INDEX. It has that name so that web servers know to point to this as being the home page. You can call it home, considering this website won't ever go online, but if it did, index would be the name for the home page. So we press save. The indexed page has had the .html extension added on by default. You could have added that on yourself. It's saved the page. It's now in the folder here called index.html. You can look at that. I will do shortly. But there's one little line I wanted to show you, which is that the link that was beforehand linking to my end drive all the way to the absolute path to 2col_fix_LT header has now actually just changed to a relative link. In other words, when your browser tries to open up index.html, the first thing it asks for is where is my style sheet, and that's all it does. I'm actually just going to close that for the time being because I don't really want to show you how to customize that yet. I just want to show you what that actually looks like when you open it. Currently, my computer knows to open HTML web pages in Chrome. You can configure that yourself, or you can ask your teacher how to do that. But I double click on the page, I tell it Chrome, or at least I thought it was going to open up in Chrome, and I press OK. And this is what it looks like, which is a page with some styles, with the header, the footer for your name and some information, a sidebar, it's called sidebar 1, and a main content area. That's what the page looks like, but I want to show you what the page looks like if you didn't have the CSS page there. I'm going to rename this because I don't want to delete it. I want to have it for later, and I'm just going to call it, I don't know, other. I'm just going to put other in front of it because I don't want to delete it. I'll delete that name other afterwards so that it works again. I'm going to go back to the page now that's in Chrome. If we refresh it, you'll see this is what, it's trying to translate because this is all in Latin, but what I'm trying to show you here is that this is what the page actually looks like with no style sheet attached to it. It's the same content, it's just it has nothing in there that says, oh, by the way, this sidebar needs to be laid out here and it needs to look like this. So really the idea is you have an HTML page, which is the index.page, and inside there is a link to the style sheet that says how it's supposed to look. Obviously I'm going to put that back now, so I'm going to rename it. Get rid of all that bit before the name, press delete, and it should now be up and running again. Go back to Chrome and refresh it, and you can see that the page will be working just fine. Next session, we're going to be starting to look at how we can customize this layout. Obviously, this is where your content is going to go, and this will be where some kind of menu options will go.